Welcome back. It's one of the hottest topics we've ever discussed on this program. UFOs, which are more recently called UAPs. Their existence is gaining credibility as more members of our military and some government leaders are talking about evidence of their existence. There's also a new documentary coming out on Amazon Prime later this month. It's called The Age of Disclosure, where you'll hear high-level government officials like Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying we need to be paying attention to this topic. Joining me this morning is Sri Tata, a graduate officer of the Yale UFO Society. Also here, Jordan Flowers, the executive director of the Disclosure Foundation, an organization dedicated to, quote, advancing the understanding of unidentified anomalous phenomena. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks so much, Eric.
As we were going off to the last commercial, I got tongue-tied because there's so many acronyms in your guys' field of practice. Yes. So, Jordan, I want to start with you. Just for our viewers at home, what kinds of stuff are we talking about when we say UFO or UAP or USO?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Generally, this is stuff flying around in our airspace that we don't understand what it is. One of the acronyms you mentioned is probably AARO, A-A-R-O. This is an office, the public may not know about this. This is an office at the Pentagon that was set up to study these things. Like, the public may not know that the director of this program, his name's John Kozlowski, he has said, quote, UAP are real, and out of the 1,600 or so cases that he has, there's many that, despite his PhD level understanding in physics and engineering, he doesn't know what these things are, and other people don't know either. So this is a real issue with respect to understanding what is in our airspace. Unfortunately, it's sort of like the rubber has hit the road recently with sightings in New Jersey, in Connecticut, with things in the air. They've been labeled as drones, but I think the public has a deep intuition that they might not be being told the full truth of what is happening there. And I think people really want answers, and that's what Sri and I are trying to help with our various organizations help drive towards.
Sri, let me turn to you because Jordan mentioned, PhD level stuff. Well, you're a PhD level guy. You're getting your PhD in mathematics at Yale, and you're in charge of this group at Yale, an officer with the group at Yale. So the interest there is real, and people who are very much science-based are saying, wait a minute, right? Is that kind of maybe the shift from 20 or 30 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think people from all across the university, undergrads, graduate students, some professors, there's a lot of interest on campus, and there's, what we're trying to do is just create a space to be able to discuss it openly. There's, a lot of interesting activity. We've had the, opportunity to have some really credible people come on, and that really helps get people out there. I've met people who want to help out with the organization, but, I've been in a triangle of, me and two other people. Both of these people want to help out, but neither of them had talked about UFOs to each other because there's such a stigma. And just being in this position of trying to organize on campus, I've met people who have seen UFOs, and we've actually through some of our guests, and we've had a case from a student that actually made its way to the House Oversight Committee down in Washington. So I'm told that there's a lot of people veterans on campus that have seen these things but kind of want to stay on the down low. So
is that part of it, and that there is that stigma, as you called it, but there's just maybe some level of society who hasn't seen the more recent evidence who says, Sri, you're crazy. And you have to kind of say, no, wait a minute, look at what I've got here, right?
Yeah, and that's the first thing, when I tried to start organizing for this club, we put a resources page on our website being I'm kind of with all the people that are this stuff is kind of nuts, because I'm looking at the news, there's all these credible reports, there's all this amazing stuff happening, but then you look more into it and then it's holy cow, it's just a whole world of, there's a lot of data, a lot of credible people, but there's a lot of noise, and our goal is to try to just, give the data its fair share of the sunlight.
Well, and Jordan, that's the whole point of your organization, and I know we led into this, and sort of our jumping off point is this documentary that's going to be out on November 21st, right. And the trailer alone has gotten 20 million views. So obviously there's a lot of people interested in this, and this was a documentary put together in secret with a lot of high-level government people. Is part of your mission to share what those people are saying so that people realize that this isn't some, kook sitting at home in his basement making stuff up? These are high-ranking military and government people saying that there's evidence.
That's exactly right. And not only that, this is one of the few bipartisan issues today in Congress, on Capitol Hill. Our organization, the Disclosure Foundation, we do three primary things. So we do political research, and we advocacy for transparency. We do whistleblower protection. We have a legal team that helps us, and we try to do public education as well. So one of the things we do is when we have senators that ask us to come in and brief them on the topic. We bring folks that have been involved in some of these programs, and we try and educate about what is actually happening here. And to your point about stigma and advancing the topic, there's legislation that's been in effect that has like a 65-page piece of legislation called the UAP Disclosure Act that mentions non-human intelligence dozens of times. This legislation is sponsored by senators like Senator Mike Rounds and senators like Chuck Schumer. Like, these are senior leaders who are trying to get the message across that we need transparency with respect to this subject. And a lot of these senior political leaders are in this film, The Age of Disclosure, and making some very bold statements about what is happening here and how we need to take this seriously.
Well, and when you watch that trailer where so many people did, it ends with someone saying, "This is the biggest discovery in human history." Sri, do you agree?
Yeah, I can't think of a bigger one.
Hey, why is it such a big deal, though? I mean, I know it may be obvious, but it's a big deal what people are coming up with, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's like, I was like kind of shocked. Like, I grew up just like watching Roswell on the History Channel, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't really seem like something real. But then it's a big deal. It affects every aspect of society, and Jordan's really involved on the military and governmental side, but it's really broader than that. Like we're having a film screening in a week and a half, about a famous mass sighting in Zimbabwe. Just a bunch of dozens of school children saw a UFO. And this director, he went and corroborated the evidence. There's like a Harvard psychology professor who investigated it, a BBC war reporter who investigated this case. And it's the military and the national security aspect is really important, but it's like really a whole of society thing that I think it's a big deal, and it kind of worries me when we don't take it seriously and then kind of just want to get ahead of the fact.
You mentioned the upcoming event. I want to just show the graphic one more time. We showed it briefly while you were talking, but if people are interested in your upcoming events, they are right there, and you can check out the Yale Student UFO Society if you want to find out more. There's some of those upcoming events if you want to check them out. Jordan, Sri mentioned briefly the government and the national security aspect of this. I know there was a congressional hearing back in September where there were military pilots who had seen these things. There was videos from military planes of these encounters. What's the next step with that? We talked a lot about, we're going to show our viewers one of these military videos taken from a plane, but what's the next step? We've talked a lot about whistleblower protection, but what about all of us protection?
Yeah, that is a great point. I think we need to be in a place where we can talk about this more openly. I think you mentioned all of us protection. One of the things that our organization wants to do is function as a think tank and address issues that are related to this topic on national security, on religion, on philosophy, on the potential impact to the markets and the economy. We intend to have a symposium next year to bring white papers forward to address that. I mean, you've got the Vice President of the United States on TV yesterday talking about UFOs and UAP and his thoughts there. And then one of our advisory board members, Avi Loeb, Harvard astrophysicist, was on Joe Rogan yesterday discussing the same thing. And it was a congressional briefing that our organization helped put together on May 1st, where they were discussing how do we not only advance the scientific aspects, but our national security apparatus. And I think transparency has to be a core component of that.
Well, certainly a lot of people are talking about that. If 20 million people are watching the trailer to the video that's not even out on Prime for a couple more weeks, it's a huge topic. We appreciate you guys coming here because I think some of it is just sharing this stuff and letting people at home, our viewers and others, know, hey, there's real evidence out there and you got to take it seriously, and we're going to continue to hear more. We hope we'll have you guys back as we learn more, and we appreciate you both being here to share your expertise.
Thanks so much, Eric.
Thanks for being with us.